and live to tell the tale. So a friend of mine finally could see. I wasn't able to pretend anymore that everything was fine. And a friend finally could see that there was something really wrong. I was so exhausted and so afraid all the time that people finally started noticing. And she asked me a direct question, which I highly recommend, by the way. Is he beating you? 4 words. And I said yes. And that was the beginning of my freedom. I'm very lucky that I still have friends. I had actually a lot of things going for me. I had not married this person. I had no children with him. My children were not living with me at the time. There was no drugs or alcohol in the home. And I had marketable skills. I could find a job if I could get away. So I contacted a friend of mine in another city to the west and was shocked she was still talking with me because I'd ignored her for 1.5 years. And she said, I don't know too much about this, but I think you have to get out of there, and soon. And so I began to plan my escape. And when I had things in as much of a row as I could, I showed up for work one morning again, dropped off, of course. And I said, I'm very sorry, but I've never done this in my life, but I have to leave today without notice. And this employer, God love him, sat me down and said, I need you to tell me what's going on. So in the back of my mind, I have always known that the truth works. And so I laid it out onto the desk for him that this is what's happening. I cannot stay in this city. So he went and talked to HR. And if there are employers here, you know, I hope you would have this kind of generosity. He said, you've got a week's holiday coming. We're going to give you another week with pay. We're going to give you 2 weeks without pay, and then we want you back. And I thought that that was fabulous. On top of that, my boss actually went with me to my apartment to get my things, and he's the one who drove me to the airport. What an amazing thing for a girl in as much trouble as I was at that time. Just an amazing thing. The other interesting thing that happened there was that my friend, knowing nothing about this, went to her employee assistance program and talked with a counselor about it, like, how can I help her? I don't know anything about this, right? So you may not think of your EAP coming in handy that way, but it really is there for exactly those kinds of things. And I'm certainly very, very grateful that those things exist, that employers like that exist. However, after a month, I was unable to return to that city. You know, we talk about Sooke being too small for someone looking for safety. I was in a city of 1 million people, and it was too small. I was that terrified. And when I did go to the airport, I was at a gate heading west to my friends. I had told him that I was heading to my parents' place in the east. So through the other side of security and all of that, and I was dead sure that he would show up. Dead sure that he would show up. And I carried that kind of fear for a very long time. it would have taken far longer than 1 month for me to be able to return to my job in that city. When I realized I was still carrying fear, it was an ordinary day. I was having a coffee with a friend, and her husband happened to be with her. We were all out shopping and said, let's have a coffee. And during the course of the conversation, I discovered that he was a police officer. And I literally could feel the fear leave me. Like my shoulders came down. I literally felt it come off me in waves. Because I knew if anything happened, he would know what to do. I guess I was feeling safe for the first time in a very, very long time. And I hadn't even realized I was still carrying that fear. I did not know until that day that I still was carrying it. It takes a long time to get over something like this. And as I say, I had a lot of good things going for me. And so I got on with my life. And I've done a lot of things since, and one of them is reconciling with my children and those friends that I ignored while I was in that relationship. And I do believe in special moments. You know, you ever see a really gorgeous sunset? Or maybe that grandchild's hug that time. This is for me what life is now. It's all about those special moments. My dinner with friends here tonight, all of you being here and hearing this, we're connected now. It's a very special moment for me.